Welcome back. By now you will have done this round of granny squares, and like I said, my next video is to show you how to make the front post section of the treble clusters. So if we look at this, we've got this little bit showing here is the joining round for the granny squares, and then we have a round of the same colour, which is the dark brown, and then we have a round of mocha, and then we have another round of dark brown, which you can hardly see, but I'll show you in a minute, and then warm grey, and then khaki, and then no, that's not mocha, that's the variegated yarn, the James C. Brett SW20, and then finally a round of mocha before we've got 2 rounds of the basil. Now it looks like a stripe between, it looks like there's only 3 rounds with a stripe, but in actual fact, if we turn it over, you can see the different rounds on the back, so you can count them, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we've got the 2 rounds of basil. So you can see that there are quite distinctly different rounds with, although the front post makes it look different on the front. So the front post rounds are always done on the front of the blanket. I'm going to bring back my sample now, and we'll get started. So now my sample piece is back, and you can see that I've actually pulled out the work that I was doing for the last video. The reason I've done that is because I think these granny squares look quite similar to the section that you've just done, so it will maybe be more straightforward for you. I have been a little bit lazy though, because this first round, which we're about to do, should be in the dark brown. That's what you'll be using, but I've just kept in the round of khaki that I put in the last video. So to all intents and purposes, this is dark brown, just you think that that's the dark brown that you're going to do. Now we're on the back of the blanket, and this round that you will do is worked on the back. It's the simple treble crochet clusters as usual. So you start in the corner and chain 2 treble clusters, 2 treble crochet stitches, 3 treble clusters in each space. When you get to the join between the 2 corners, it's treble 1, treble 2 together, and treble 1. Now you've done that already, so this shouldn't be a problem. So you just need to work round in your dark brown with this treble cluster round. And then the next thing we're going to do is move on to the mocha, and we're just going to do another round in exactly the same way. We're not doing the front post at this point, so we've got a second round to do. And the important thing for this is that you're not turning your blanket over as you would normally think you would do. All our rounds of simple treble clusters are going to be worked on the back, and all the rounds with the front post stitch will be on the front. So it's just a case of attaching your yarn as normal on the back and working another round in exactly the same way as you've just done. So I will do that, and I'll come back when I've got that done, and we can then make a start on the first of the rounds with the front post stitch. So I'll see you again in just a minute. There's the mocha round done, and this is the point where we turn it. So now that we've turned it, we're back onto the front of the blanket. There's the ridges of the join as you go. So this is us ready to do the first of the rounds with the front posts in it. You would be going back to dark brown to do yours, but I'm out of dark brown, so I'm going to continue with the khaki for this round. Just be aware that you'll be making it in dark brown. And it starts in exactly the same way as the previous rounds. We're just going to start in the corner and do our usual chain 2. And 2 trebles, because I'm not putting the front post stitches into the corner. So that's 1, 2 trebles. That's just your usual start. And then we'll move over to the next space along and do 1 treble stitch. Now we're going to make a slightly bigger stitch, so we're going to do a double treble, and that is, in US terms, a treble. This couldn't get more complicated. Double treble in UK terms, treble in US terms. So double treble, what you do for that is you wrap your yarn twice around your hook rather than just the once. And this time, instead of going into the space as you normally would, what we're going to do is look at this cluster of 3 trebles. Yours will be dark brown and mine it's khaki. And I'm going to identify that very middle stitch. So you've got 3 stitches and there's 1 in the middle, and what I'm going to do is just put my hook underneath the long part of that stitch. That's called the post, the long part, so that's why we're calling it the front post. And then we're going to pull it through. Now we've got 4 loops left in the hook, so we're going to yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So that just gives you a longer stitch because we're jumping down to the previous round. And then we've got 1 more treble to put in, and that's going into just into the normal space. And there you can see what's happened. You've got this texture sitting on the front. It's like a long stripe sitting on the front. I'll do it again. So that's 1 treble in the next space, and then yarn over twice, pick up that stitch that's in the middle of the group of 3, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So there's 1 extra movement compared to an ordinary treble stitch. That's what makes it just a little bit longer. And then go back into that ordinary space between the mocha stitches and put your final treble stitch. So it's only the front post stitch is only the middle one. I'll do that once more. So that's 1 treble, 1 double treble, picking up that very front, picking up the stitch rather than the top of the stitch. So you're going underneath that stitch and pulling through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then 1 more treble. There we go. So that's just changing the look a little bit. So you just need to work around. When you come to the corners, don't worry about the front post, just put in 3 trebles, 2 chains and 3 trebles and work all the way around. Now, I have made a note, I should have mentioned it. Then the stitch count for the very first round, which in your case is dark brown, is 46 clusters. And then for the mocha round, 47, increases by 1 each time. The first of the front post rounds is 48. And by the time you've got to the end of this section, which is the 2 plain rounds of the pale green basil, by the second round you'll have 54 clusters along each side. Now I'm going to do a bit of this and I'll come back when it's time to start the next round, and after that I'll leave you to do all the rounds in this section. So here we have that round done with the front post, and it's very textural. It's literally, it reminds me a bit of the bark of the tree, the redwood tree. It's so textured. The next thing to do will be to turn it to the reverse side. Oh, don't look at all these ends. Turn it to the reverse side to do the plain round, and you will be doing it in the warm grey. And then you will have another round of the front post in khaki, and then a plain round, like I said, in the SW20, and then a plain round, then a front post round in mocha, and then 2 plain rounds of basil. So that's how to make the front post stitch, which I think is a really interesting textural part to add into the blanket. So the next time I come back, as I said before, it will be to make this little beauty, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.